Even though downforce is still crucial, having too much drag these days will not get you very far. If you can deliver an automobile that is really powerful in a straight line, the incentives are enormous. Because of his natural top speed advantage, Max Verstappen has been able to cut through the field with ease and maintain an unbeatable lead at the front. This has been the foundation of many of his victories. However, it's more difficult to get the ideal downforce drag level for a track now than it was in the past, when rear wing designs allowed for adjustable flaps, allowing for adjustments to be made up or down based on what worked best. Welcome to F1 Opinion. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for more updates. Flap angles are fixed due to the design of the rules and the current generation of rear wings. As a result, the game has evolved, and a team needs a completely different rear wing if they wish to produce significantly less drag or significantly more downforce. Several teams may not have given this area as much attention during the first 2 years of the current regulations regime, but that has all changed now that the truth about this crucial performance component has surfaced. According to Andrea Stella, the principal of McLaren, teams may only modify drag levels at this time by acquiring new wing families. The rear wing pretty much sets the drag level once you have a certain car that is relatively mature, like the launch car, he stated. It is not necessary to create new families of rear wings in order to make up for the lack of bodywork, floor, and front wing. You create new rear wing families because you observe that by doing so, you simply find more effective rear wings. Therefore, it is not necessary for the rear wing to trail the car's total drag level. It travels virtually independently. However, this does not mean that teams should adopt an extremely low drag wing and hope for the best. The modern automobiles rely heavily on the communication between each aero component. Therefore, the ability to reduce the size of a rear wing can only occur when the rest of the car's performance is reasonably assured. Stella continued, saying, "There is interaction between the rear wing and the bodywork, floor, and rear brakes. In order to create the car as a cohesive whole that blends in with everything else, you must do all of these combinations. However, just because you alter the drag level doesn't mean you have to alter the idea of the rear wing. The rear wing significantly influences the drag level." Last weekend's events in Saudi Arabia provided evidence of how much teams are experimenting with drag levels, as teams worked hard to determine the best strategy for the season's first low downforce circuit. Throughout the race weekend, Mercedes experimented with 2 different rear wing configurations in an effort to achieve the ideal mix of performance for both qualifying and the main event. For FP1 and FP2, both drivers employed the lower downforce setup on Thursday. However, for FP3, Hamilton, possibly seeking clarification and a bit more balance, switched to the higher downforce setup from Bahrain. But both drivers ended up using the lower downforce configuration's top speed for qualifying and the race because they needed it. The 2 options share a similar overall DNA in terms of wing design, with the outer segment of the spoon-shaped mainplane tapering less toward the end plate and the middle region's chord reduced. The metal attachment point, which sits astride the rolled mainplane and end plate junction, is covered by the leading edge of the tip section, which looks to be dragged down over the end plate more so than previously. All of those surfaces, including the rear cutout, have an effect on the vortex that forms. Interestingly, to better control the airflow across that area of the wing, the upper flap also has a semicircular notch in the center that has been trimmed from the trailing edge. Contrary to what many of its competitors did in Saudi Arabia, Mercedes surprisingly chose to combine its lower downforce rear wing layout with the identical beam wing arrangement that it had utilized with the higher downforce wing in Bahrain. Prior to the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, Ferrari revealed that it was equipped with a revised rear wing that produced less downforce. However, the Scuderia never really installed the assembly on their car because they had done the same thing the previous season, preferring to go with Bahrain's design. It did, however, have one more trick up its sleeve to assist lower drag and improve performance in straight lines and fast corners. Instead of the biplane configuration observed on the SF24 in Bahrain, it ran just one beam wing element. Following a rising number of teams in repurposing a centerline notch on the trailing edge of the flap, McLaren's lower downforce rear wing has 2 distinct design elements on the upper flap. To create a new flow environment leading up to the semicircular cutting, McLaren has taken it a step further by sunkening the flap around the notch. Like Ferrari, McLaren decided to use only one beam wing configuration for the MCL38 in Saudi Arabia. Another team that changed its rear wing in Saudi Arabia was Aston Martin, who did so with the intention of minimizing drag and downforce. Also, the upper flap of the AMR-24 had a centerline notch cut into its trailing edge, similar to what we've already seen elsewhere. In order to lessen downforce and control the resulting vortex created in this area, the outboard section of the wing had also undergone significant modifications. The trailing edge tapered to meet with a shallower, dog-eared tip section. Saudi provided us with a sneak peek at an additional aerodynamic adjustment that the team attempted in 2023, but was unable to make function correctly elsewhere on the Aston Martin vehicle. It had debuted a crash structural winglet resembling a bow tie during the Dutch Grand Prix the previous season, but after designing a new jack to fit it, it found it difficult to keep it intact during pit stops. The team changed the configuration for 2024. The AMR-24 now has two winglets. One is fixed to the side of the crash structure, while the other, which is flatter than the one from the previous season, is located on the rear of the crash structure. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comment down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for new upcoming videos of Formula One. Thanks for watching.